Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
Oh, no. No. Gabe Kapler gets a win. No, this is the worst thing that's ever happened in my life. Witnessing that human being step on the Citizens Bank Park's field and come out victorious. It makes me sick. I can't believe I just watched that Phillies offense. That also makes me sick. With runners in scoring position, they just don't know what to do. And it's over and over and over again. Every inning, it was nonstop. They would get a few guys on. You would only need one more hit, and you wouldn't be able to get that timely hit. Gosman, he did have some nice pitches out there, but let's not act like we just faced Jacob deGrom. Let's not act like we just witnessed Nolan Ryan in his prime. You should have been able to do damage. Like, damage should have been done, damn it, and you couldn't execute against the Giants. And it's painful. It really is. I feel bad for Joe Girardi. He had to, because he was so desperate. He knew that he would have to try and punch in a run somehow. He elected to yank Chase Anderson after 4 innings of play. Now, there's 2 things to look at when I bring that up. One, the entire bullpen worked out. So while I feel bad for him, he pushed all the right buttons afterwards. David Hale actually looked the best I think we've ever seen David Hale look. Coonrod's blowing 101 past everybody. Kinsler was able to be the guy that we needed him to be. And, of course, JoJo Romero also held the door shut. So your entire bullpen, it worked out. So while you had to yank your pitcher, everything else worked the perfect way it needed to, and the puzzle pieces fit. The other side is that as well. Well, it's the same side. It's just more to it. He was playing with fire. Chase Anderson did allow on a 1-2 count Belt to go yard to give them a 2-0 lead, which was clearly painful. But in prior innings, guys were on base. There was a ton of traffic. You're getting players on third. He was able to get out of those jams, but eventually more runs would have been poured on with Chase Anderson on the mound. That's inevitable. He's your 5th starter for a reason. But still, you know you're desperate. You know your manager is making a statement when he has to put Bamboo Brad at the dish to try and find some way to squeeze in a run and yank your starter at that point, especially knowing you don't have Archie Bradley. Jose Alvarado's not available because of the COVID-19 protocols, so you were limited in bullpen help. Well, you also didn't have to use them last game because Aaron Nola was so special and he was so sensational. So that's a part of the equation as well with it. Just sucks. It really does. You allow that to happen with Belt, so it's a 2-0 lead. From there, bottom of the third, 2 outs. I'm going to lay out the scenarios that all went down throughout this process, all right? So bottom 3, 2 outs. Rhys Hoskins gets a single. Bryce Harper gets a single. You have first and third for JT Realmuto. He puts together an insane at-bat. I'm not going to act as if it wasn't a professional at-bat. He was up there, he was working, he was grinding. He eventually, though, gets fooled looking at a pitch down the pipe. It was a splitter that buckled the knees, and you could see the frustration as he walked towards the bench. I wasn't happy in that moment. I would have loved for JT to be able to finish that at-bat off with a nice single up the middle or a nice home run. Oh, let's just be a little bit ballsy here. Let's be a little bit greedy. Maybe a bomb would have been nice. But I would have loved for him to finish that off. He didn't, but there was so much game left. I thought, all right, they're clearly putting pressure on. They're getting guys on base. They will be just fine. Here comes the 4th inning, 0 outs. Alec Boehm walks. Gene Segura gets his 200th double, which I don't know how he slid in the second. There's no way in hell he really got there, but damn, that effort is incredible. This version of Gene Segura, it's Bryce Harper's work ethic in the second basement. That is clear, right? That is a fair statement to make. The same type of work ethic that you are getting out of Gene Segura out of nowhere. This is so random. This is so bizarre. Segura has been the complete opposite. Something must have clicked in his brain. Someone must have gotten into his ear. But this is a totally different player, a game-changing player. I thought it was a little ballsy to even try and take two there. I think 99 out of 100 times he's out and he's gunned out, but he found a way to maneuver around it. And I think it was on his mind to get his 200 double. And I thought the reaction to the 200 double was a little odd as well. Here we are doing hat tips and all, as if my man just got 500 home runs. He got 200 doubles. He's looking for the ball. He's standing on second base, putting his hands up, looking for the ball. So his modem, or his motor, was clearly, or motive, is that the word I'm looking for? Motive, excuse me, I'm all over the place tonight, was to go grab, I don't even know if that's the right word at this point, but I'm just going with it, was to get that double to finish off my sentence that I just interfered with 7 times. Thought the reaction by the crowd was really odd. And I don't even think, speaking of reacting and reactions from the crowd, I don't even think what was applied to Gabe Kapler was enough. I thought it was going to be way harsher. I saw videos. I saw clips. There was so much on social media showing the fan base and what they were doing. Maybe it was because there wasn't 40,000 fans there going nuts and all hammered, and it was only around 11,000 or however many they're actually allowing in Citizens Bank Park. But I'll be honest with you, I'm definitely disappointed as one of the proud members of the I Hate Gabe Kapler fan club that it wasn't more intense. I wanted people bleeding out there. Too far? I don't know. So bottom 4, right? Bohm walks, Gene Segura doubles and gets the 200 double. Mickey Moniak with one of the worst at-bats. Keep in mind, this is with 0 outs. The worst at-bats I've ever seen in my life. 3 pitches, bang, bang, bang. Your ass is walking back to the dugout. It was one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen. Also in the field, when he loses the ball up in the air and he has no idea what to do and where to go, and then with a blink of an eye, he runs a couple feet up and dives and makes this incredible catch. I don't give you praise for making that catch. You're a center fielder in the MLB, first overall pick. I've seen you last year be a disaster in left field, not being able to read the ball off the bat. You stink. You made such a crucial mistake. You lost the ball on a non-windy day where any center fielder in their right mind sees the ball off the bat and knows what to do and adjusts their eyeballs and goes and makes the catch. You suck. You're bad. The center field position is atrocious. And by the way, I saw this. Let me pull this up on my phone because I saw the stats of Scott Kingery, and it tells you everything you need to know about where Scott Kingery is at, that they elected to bring up Maton instead of Scott Kingery. He's 1 for 26 with 12 strikeouts so far, including an 0 for 2 stint in Monday's 6-1 loss to the Yankees taxi squad in Coca-Cola Park. So, you know what? Scott Kingery might be better, but Scott Kingery is a disaster. Mickey Moniak stinks. You saw it on both sides of the plate. That wasn't his only 3-pitch strikeout in the game. He was terrible. He is terrible, and it's not a good option at all. Dave Dombrowski, you have to do something. The fact that Didi Gregorius is out with left arm swelling, which is a problem. I saw the replay. I saw the news without remembering what play actually happened for him to have that type of problem, and then they showed it through the broadcast. I could see why there's some swelling as he tried to make a play heading back towards the outfield and diving for a pop fly. The fact that you bring up Maton instead of Scott Kingery, I think it tells you everything you need to know about how much that kid's struggling. It's same in the center field position. Mickey Moniak is your option. Well, Scott Kingery is an absolute joke in the hitting department as well. So Maton had an ugly at-bat. After that, Mickey Moniak at-bat. This is in the 4th. And then Bamboo Brad with 2 outs couldn't execute. So you had 2 guys on, 0 outs in the 4th inning, no runs scored. Now, for Maton, he did end up having his first hit of his MLB career in this game, and then his last at-bat was actually a rocket. It was a moonshot back through the middle of the field. It just happened to be caught, but it was actually a great swing. So he did have that pretty ugly at-bat, but he had his first hit, and then he really stroked it pretty damn well for his last at-bat. So I don't think he looked overwhelmed. I think he got more comfortable as the game went along. And yeah, I mean, you're going to have ugly at-bats when you are so raw to the game. But Mickey Moniak, a different perspective on it because number 1 overall pick. Last year, he was terrible. He's a bust, so there's just more expectations on a number 1 overall pick, and he's not living up to that, so I'm going to be harsher on him. I'm going to be more brutal on him. Whether it's his fault or not, I saw some Phillies Twitter going around saying, well, don't get mad at Mickey Moniak for being in that position, or don't be mad at Maton for being in that position. Well, I think differently of Mickey Moniak than I do Maton, all right? Because Mickey Moniak's first overall pick, and I know it's not his fault that he gets selected, but dude, you need to be a better player than you are. You cannot be this trash. You are garbage. You need to be better than garbage. At least put together something like Maton did, where there's a blooper involved. There's a really good at-bat where there's some nice, solid, hard contact involved. This is what you're getting. He's striking out so much. It's egregious. So going with some more stats here that I have on my phone. At one point, he had 8 strikeouts in 12 appearances. I don't know how that works out after some of his other at-bats, because I saw it was 7 strikeouts in 11 appearances, and it was 8 in 12, and it's bad is what it is, though. At the end of the day, it's bad, and it's one of the worst things my eyeballs have ever seen. Let's go to the bottom 5, shall we? McCutchen walks. Bryce Harper with a little dinky over to the third base side for his 3rd hit of the game. So another day of Bryce Harper getting 3 hits. This guy's just incredible. Finds ways. Doesn't always need to be that crushed exit velocity, although most of the time it is, and it should be because he does have that type of power, and he does have the capability to be a monster at the dish, so you know it is going to come. Even if it's a little dink the other way because you're going to put your shift on, by all means, I don't give a damn how it happens. Just get him on base. So you have 2 on, JT up. He should have been doubled up, but there was an error throw involved, so that keeps the inning alive. 1st and 3rd, 2 outs for Alec Boehm. Can't score the runs. Bottom 6, Maton gets his single. Joyce walks. McCutchen is up on a 3-0 count. 3-1 pitch. He gets totally crushed by the umpire behind the dish. High inside. Somehow it's called a strike. To be fair, though, it looked like Gossman got he crossed up the catcher behind the plate, and there was a first pitch of the at-bat that was right down the middle of the plate, but because the way the catcher had to react and he had to go underhand, the umpire called it a ball. So you get one, well, you get one taken away as well. You got help, well, you're also going to get screwed on the same at-bat. Just to be fair, Andrew McCutchen, though, he was up 3-0, ends up being 3-1 because he was screwed on that pitch, and then ends up getting out, and there goes that inning. Bottom 3, bottom 4, bottom 5, bottom 6, all chances. Bottom 8, Alec Boehm gets on. Gene Segura gets robbed by Crawford. So you thought, hey, one of your hotter hitters are up. One of your top guys right now are performing. He gets robbed by a play from Crawford, of all people, who still has it. You know, that guy's just been there forever, it seems, and he still has it, and he is shutting the door down defensively to make a really good defensive play to stop any sort of life that the Phillies were going to get. After the game, it was discussed that maybe there's going to be a new leadoff guy because Andrew McCutchen is not holding up his end of the bargain, and I'm here for it. I mentioned this on Leading Off with Brodes, and I also mentioned this on Coffee with Brodes. I don't know if you caught those shows. You should. Coffee with Brodes, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. every single weekday on Sports Talk with Brodes and the YouTube channel, of course. And Leading Off with Brodes is before Phillies games. We do a little pregame show at 6 o'clock. So that's what that is if you are unaware. I was convinced during Coffee with Brodes this morning that I'm open to Gene Segura at the leadoff spot. I didn't think I was going to be. I didn't know if that was the best spot for him. Then I did a little bit of research on what he was doing in Seattle, hitting over 300 and just being a force in the leadoff spot throughout his career. Now, he has good numbers in other spots in the lineup. The way I look at it is Cutch other than batting in the 3-hole when he was in his prime, hasn't had anything in any other spot, realistically. The sample sizes are so damn small, he doesn't really get the chances to do it because, well, he's a good leadoff guy. Jean Segura is good in the leadoff, hitting over 300 in his career in its entirety, but he also gives you 280, 290, and good numbers in other spots too in that lineup. So if you're looking at your pros and your cons, how do you apply that data to how you want to make the lineup card every single day? At this point, though, I'm here for it. You got to try something new because this is somewhat struggling. And I don't think this is all on Andrew McCutchen. I brought up Alec Boehm. I brought up JT Realmuto. I brought up other players here that have had problems knocking in runs. So it's not only Andrew McCutchen leading off that is seriously putting this team in a bunch of misery. And I've mentioned this before also. Just because you lead off, it doesn't mean you lead off every inning. That's obvious, right? You lead off, yes, it's important to get on base. But if the 7-hole hitter starts or the 8th-hole hitter starts and Andrew McCutchen is now up with 2 outs or so, it's not the same. You have something there to start the game off. But when you start an inning with your 5th batter as the leadoff guy, well, then it's all one cycle. Once the game starts, the leadoff guy, well, it changes things. It's not the same pressure as the first at-bat of the game where you're working the count and you're trying to get on base. It changes so much. What happens when there's a guy on second, 1 out, and Andrew McCutchen is up? That's not the same as being a leadoff guy anymore. So my point is, while I'm okay with trying someone new and working around here with this new lineup, I would go something real funky with it, to be honest with you. Throw something at the wall and see what it sticks. I would go with, I kind of want to see Bryce Harper lead off. I want to see something, maybe we'll go Jean Segura in the 2. Let's go with Alec Boehm in the 3. Rhys Hoskins batting 4. JT 5th. DD 6 when he's good to go. Andrew McCutchen in the 7th. And then Mickey Moniak, sadly, in the 8th. And then your pitcher. Bryce Harper leading off. Jean Segura, Alec Boehm, Rhys Hoskins, JT, DD. Andrew Moniak, the pitcher. Or I wouldn't mind Jean in the 1, Bryce in the 2, Alec Boehm in the 3, or JT in the 3, Rhys in the 4, Boehm at the 5. Let's just start throwing some random things at the wall and see what you can do because there needs to be a spark involved. There needs to be a new style of offense to your team just to see if something will generate. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It can't be much worse than this. It can't be more embarrassing than in the 3rd inning, 4th inning, 5th inning, 6th inning, all getting your chances with guys on to set the inning off straight to be able to produce runs and to get runs along the board here, and you just come up bankrupt in so many different ways. Whether it is being up 3-0 in a count and then not getting on board, whether it's having 0 outs with 2 men on and having one of the worst stretches of at-bats I've ever seen. Those Mickey Moniak at-bats were just terrible. I've never seen someone so uncomfortable, unless your name is Scott Kingery, at the plate trying to hit the baseball. He was lost. And was there maybe a bad pitch involved, or I should say a bad call involved, that allowed the pitch to be a strike when maybe it was a ball and it somewhat set the tone and screwed him? You're going to have to adjust. That's going to happen, and that doesn't change the fact that the other 2 pitches in the at-bat, you look just as much of a space cadet as you did in your other strikeout in 3 pitches. It is so unacceptable what you're getting out of that center field position, and I think I'm Mr. Let's go on the stats and check out some stats on the phone during the show type of feel, if that even makes sense. It looks like Matt Gelb wasn't the one that tweeted this out about the center field position, but he did tweet this out. Bryce Harper is 7 for his last 9, and the 2 outs, with air quotes, were hit 383 feet and 402 feet, and both should have been home runs if not for the wind. He's slashing 319, 458, 574 for the season. Yeah, Bryce Harper's just absolutely killing it. Let me see if I can find out the stats. I know it's been since April 4th since they got an actual hit from that position, which is almost impossible. We talk about a historic bullpen. We are now talking about historic, horrendous outfield play. This is from Scott Lauber. The leadoff man is batting 157. Center field is a black hole. In the last 7 games, the Phillies have scored 19 runs. 9 of those came in one game. I'm still looking for this specific center field quote where it talks about how bad they've been. I'll try one more person. Let's see if it was Tim Kelly that tweeted it out. It was not. All right, I give up. I give up on that quote. Let's throw it on over to the Anytime Hotline. But first, I do need to let you know about my friends over at DraftKings. Masvidal and Usman put on a show the last time they stepped into the octagon. Round 2 is sure to pack a punch. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC, is putting you in the center of this weekend's title fight with 26-1 odds on either title contender to reign victorious. Pick either main event fighter to win during this weekend's UFC 261 title fight, and DraftKings will give you 26-1 odds. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes when you sign up to turn $5 into $130 if the title contender of your choice wins. Place your bet and watch the fist fly this weekend. That's code Brodes to turn $5 into $130 if the fighter of your choosing takes home the crowd. For a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let it fly. Let it fly, Anytime Hotline. Here we go.
I'm not going to shit on them for the offense that much. I just want to get through a couple quick things. First of all, congrats to Kapler for being a lifetime 500 manager. Mickey Moniak looks like Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future. Can't ignore that. Also, Mayton, he put some good swings on the baseball. I feel like he has some good exit velos. McCutchen stinks. He's bad. And also, you can tell that Harper today on his swings was trying to keep his back in check by putting simpler swings on the baseball. And in my opinion, I think the result was probably the best, most consistent-looking swing that we've seen him take in a Phillies uniform. So that, to me, was a promising sign from today, despite the lack of offense.
It's an amazing call. It really is. The point on Moniak has me in tears. That's for damn sure. The McCutchen stinks thing, I'm just not there. I'm sorry. I can't say, I am not sold that Andrew McCutchen just stinks. I think what we're witnessing is something similar to Danny Green with the 76ers. I could be wrong, but this is what my gut is telling me. There was a stretch of games where Danny Green, to Sixers fans, was the worst acquisition ever. You got to get rid of him. He's got zero value. He's such a terrible piece to the team, and he's providing you zero spark. Well, guess what? Once he got out of that funk and once he got out of that rut, Danny Green has been one of the more impact players for your team. I don't think that Andrew McCutchen is as important as Danny Green is to the Sixers, but his veteran presence and what he's done in this league has shown me that there's something there in Andrew McCutchen where he's just having a really weak start to the season, and there's a difference between 72 NBA games and 162 Phillies games. This isn't good, and this is unacceptable, Adam McCutchen, but just like Danny Green turned it around because he dug deep and he really looked himself in the mirror and he found a way to somewhat snap back into things and get better motion and execute better, I feel that you will see that out of Cutch. I feel that there will be a part of this season where Andrew McCutchen is on a hot streak and he's giving you a lot of good hits, and maybe he's got 10 hits in a stretch of games and he's cruising and he's that spark plug that you're looking for, and he's making good plays for you out defensively. I did see him really give you a lot of hustle on that diving play out in left field. He didn't make the play, but it really came down to me just watching him with his legs, because we are now seeing an Andrew McCutchen post such a severe injury. So post that time, after that time, how will he be able to run and provide any sort of defense for you? He didn't make the play, but I thought that he gave you everything and left it all out there on the field on that play, and that's all you can ask for out of a struggling player too when it comes to what he's doing offensively. I'm just not ready to say he stinks and this is who he's going to be all year. He is a better player than this. It's unacceptable, and it's to the point now where I am fully aware of making changes, and Joe Girardi should try something new, and you should try to create a little internal rise out of your team, and mixing up the order is the way to do that. I just don't think I can say he stinks fully. I can't. He's been too damn good to say that he stinks. He might not be the player in Pittsburgh, no shit, but he could be the 250 hitter and not the 167 hitter, and that's a significant change.
If you were to tell me in a game where the Phillies pitching only gave up 2 runs and Bryce Harper had 3 hits, I would think, well, easy night. Probably like a 6-2 game, 7-2 game. But no, pretty much everybody on this team except for Harper is ice cold right now. This offense is anemic, and if you were to tell me at the start of the year that the biggest problem with this Phillies team would be its offense, I would tell you that you're crazy. I would say bullpen is still bullpen trouble, 4th and 5th starter trouble. But no, the biggest problem is with the team right now is its offense, and it needs to be fixed and fast.
But I do feel, I'm holding hope that there's been spurts throughout other seasons where we did criticize the offense because it wasn't as great as we needed it to be. So I figured it would raise its ugly head once in a blue moon throughout the season, because that's any baseball team. Any squad will go through their team's funk, and right now the Phillies are doing it. Heading into the season, I'm with you, though. I think it would have been center field and the back end of the rotation. I thought that the bullpen would be fixed, but because last year was so PTSD-ish that you would need to see it before you believe it, but you did sense that the changes that were made, there were more professionals in the bullpen and there were more experienced guys in the bullpen, that it would naturally be better, and you figured it would. It was more center field and back-end starting rotation pieces. I never thought it would be this ugly, especially early. I know that you can take a bit to get going, and you're seeing that with the Atlanta Braves, although they're going through some injury problems, which is a different source of a reason, and it's a different style to why you're failing the way that you're failing. I just keep going back to these players are too good for this to keep up 162. It's the McCutchen theory, but it's the McCutchen theory throughout the entire team. Bryce Harper and Gene Segura sure are flying right now. And Rhys Hoskins has given you, for the most part, he's given you a lot of doubles. He's given you the power. Hasn't walked as much, but his other numbers, his batting average is up. So if we're going to bitch and complain that he walks too much, and now he's walking less, and his other numbers are showing and improving, and he's driving the baseball, where you can't get too upset with it. He has ugly at-bats, don't get me wrong. That's Rhys Hoskins, though. There's been some guys, but I just think this lineup, they're too good to be this consistently. That's just how I feel. I can be wrong, and maybe my opinion changes after 50 games of the season. I just look at it, and as the caller mentioned, we would have never thought that it would be the offense that would be this terrible. Exactly. Because there's no way that they are this terrible. They are a better team. They just got to apply it and dig themselves out of it and find a way to pull it out of themselves, and there's time to do it. So I'm willing to wait and see, and I feel maybe I have a little bit more optimism than others out there. I just look at the lineup, and I feel that they have too much talent for them to not be able to get any hits with runners in scoring position forever. Forever? No way. Not forever. There might be spurts, but not forever.
The Phillies' offense is awful right now. 2 guys are pretty much hitting, maybe 3. That's Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, and Gene Segura. Everyone else can't hit the goddamn baseball. Andrew McCutchen grounds it to third every time. Rhys Hoskins rolls over every time. Moniak can't make contact. When you're playing Matten, or whatever his name is, things are freaking bad. We needed 2 runs to tie the game up. And we couldn't even get 2 runs leading runners in scoring position. Put the ball in play and we're getting a run home. Unbelievable, terrible. Our bullpen pitched their ass off tonight and can't do anything about it.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because I feel maybe at the end of this all, something that isn't being discussed enough is that bullpen. David Hale actually looked very strong. I'm not telling you that I'm putting a lot of stock into David Hale. He did have an outing previously that wasn't as bad as miserable moments that we've seen out of him. Kinsler, Big. Who was the other one again? There was 2 more. Coonrod and JoJo Romero. They all, they definitely stepped up for sure. I do want to touch on, you say that nobody else can get hits. I just think it's the timely hits. They're getting on base. Think about all the innings I mentioned where there was at least an opportunity to score a run. It was the third inning, the fourth inning, the fifth inning, the sixth inning, the eighth inning. There's a lot of innings where there's at least that chance. Hey, we have guys on. Hey, we are getting on base. Whoa, we have traffic. Hey, we have base runners. So they're doing something to get there. It's the timely part. It's just that touch. It's that one bloop out in center field. It's that one play. It's that one swing. It's the not grounding out into a double play. It's that timely hit that is costing us. It's not, hey, they can't do anything, right? They're at least getting there. Now it's time to apply the second part of it, which is getting the runs to actually cross home plate. You did attack Reese there. I'm not the biggest Reese defender in the world, but I thought you were going a little too extreme. And in terms of Cutch rolling it over, yeah, I did see a couple pitches where, Cutch. Dude, Cutch. Come on. You got to square it up better than that. You cannot roll it over. You can't hit the top of that baseball. You cannot. That is a pitch you need to drive, dude. I did see, there was that sigh moment in watching Cutch today with his at-bats. One specifically, a pitch down the middle that he needed to square up and tattoo, and it was a ground out. And as soon as you saw that ground out and him run through first base, it was that moment of understanding. It is time. It's when it's everyone's in acknowledgement and everyone realizes, all right, we're doing it. We're going to change the order.
Oh, the Phillies. Gabe Kapler's return home comes with a big fat dub for him, not for us. The bats weren't even quiet. They just left so many runners on. Moniak was making good plays in the field. He was making horrible plays in the batter's box side. Whoever was at shortstop wasn't particularly great. So many runners left on. Good God, I'm going to have nightmares.
Yeah, I'm with you with the nightmares part of things. Moniak making great plays in the field. I'm not doing it. I'm not praising him for that crazy diving play when in a no-wind situation, he's losing the ball. I can't get it out of my head what I saw last season when he's out in left field and he's doing the same thing. So what did you learn? How did you get better? What did you change? How are you an outfielder, a number one overall pick, and you're struggling to actually see the ball and recognize it hit the bat and make the right adjustments off of the bat? You can't get your first jump right? Dude, that's baseball 101. That's outfield 101. And for you to finally see it and think, I'm going to go full throttle and dive, and my body's going to be sideways, my legs are going to be up in the air, my wrist is going to be folded back with my neck tilted and twisted and almost backwards facing the other way, that's somewhat going to make me satisfied? Absolutely not. Mickey Moniak is garbage, and I have zero faith in the kid. And there's a reason why I have zero faith in the kid. In terms of Maton, I think you're giving too much praise to Mickey Moniak's defense and not enough praise to Maton, who I'm not going to tell you he crushed it, but I saw two nice at-bats at him compared to a number one overall pick who stinks. So, you know what? When you're going up mano-y-mano and I'm going to judge you based off of who's beating one another, it's like it's its own game inside the game. Mickey Moniak versus Maton. Who looked better? Here's a dude who's getting thrown into the fire. Didi Gregorius is out. So, hey, why don't you play shortstop for your first ever game? And you have Mickey Moniak, the first overall pick. It's not even close. I thought Maton put together a couple nice at-bats. To be honest with you. Not that I'm not claiming that he was special and I have this big future plan for Maton. I'm just saying, if I'm talking about the two, no way.
Joe Girardi. Earth to Joe Girardi. This lineup is clearly not working. I don't know what he sees. I mean, how many more of a Cutch groundouts do we have to see? How many more Real Muto runners in scoring position fails do we have to see before he makes the change? Like, how many times? And then the center field position. 0 for 28? How is that even possible? Like, get a random fan out of the stands and give him 28 chances. He'll probably luck into at least one. I don't understand. The pitching is doing fine. The bullpen is doing fine. And the offense is now failing. Man, can we catch a break besides that one time in Atlanta?
It's all going to come full circle. There's going to be a stretch this season where our offense is blitzing teams, putting up 7 runs, and our bullpen's getting shelled, or our starting pitching's not stopping the other team from scoring, and they're only going 4 2/3 with 92 pitches. It's going to happen. It's going to flip-flop roles. The offense will click, and then the bullpen will get into their ugly rut, and then the starting pitching will do the same. It'll follow. It's just the nature of a season. I do think the criticism of Joe Girardi in the lineup, though, when we're 16 games in, demanding to this point. Now I think it's fine to make an adjustment, but to act as if Joe Girardi is just the reason why, and I'm not saying you're saying the reason why they're this bad right now is because of Joe Girardi. You just want something to change because after you see the same results over and over again, it's time to do something because you're being insane. You're just going through the motions without trying to adapt and trying something new. So I get the frustration, but there's also an element of trusting your guys. There's an element of Joe Girardi was a player. Joe Girardi played in this league. There's something about the respect level of, hey, we're 7 games in and you're pulling Andrew McCutchen and you're making this huge, harsh statement to the veteran guy who is big in the vocal side of things and he's a huge part of the clubhouse. There's this respect level that he has for these players and they respect him as well, and that's part of it. You give them that leash. You give a player like McCutchen a bigger leash than you give Roman Quinn, then you give Adam Hazley, then you give other guys. Bryce Harper, McCutchen, Reese, they get bigger leashes. JT, you talk about, hey, guys in scoring position, try something new. No, plenty of guys had chances, just to be clear. JT Real Muto had chances. There's been times when Reese Hoskins throughout has had chances. Alec Boehm has had chances. Mickey Moniak has had chances. Segura had a chance, and I mentioned that Crawford made a good play, but there were some chances in the 8th inning to just get a little bit more in play on the base paths. So plenty of guys. My point is, sure, change is fine with me. I'm cool with it. Doesn't mean change is the answer and it's going to be better. Can it be worse? Probably not. Well, it could be worse, but could it be the same? Yeah, it might be the same. I'm just not screaming at Joe Girardi. I'm screaming at the players. It's the players. JT's too good to allow that to not happen. Alec Boehm is too good to not be able to execute. Gene Segura is playing so hot, I expect him to keep it going. I look at the play. I look at Andrew McCutchen. Why are you playing this bad? Not, hey, Joe Girardi, do something. It's, Andrew McCutchen, do something. That's the way I look at it. Get yourself out of this. You're too good. You've been around too long. Get yourself out of this. Now, eventually, that runs dry, and something fresh needs to occur. We're there. To this point, though, I wasn't there. Now I'm there, and I'm okay, and let's see how things change. With that being said, thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Sports Talk with Brodes, and I will see you next time.